Hi, Frank Thacker here, and welcome to the Daily Peacemaker. The last session we talked, or last podcast, I guess that wasn't really a session, podcast, we talked about the third principle of King and nonviolence, which the short version is attack the behaviors, not the person. And yes, I know attack is tends to be a violent word. When people hear attack, they think of some type of violence, some type of attack. Like, I'm going to get that person. So the principle is to focus on the behavior and not the person. So if you're driving along, nice, peaceful morning, someone cuts you off, your first reaction, my first reaction, most people's first reaction is to attack that person, that driver. You jerk, what's the matter with you? We throw them the finger, we castigate them, their family, blah, blah, blah. You don't have the brains you were born with. Go all the way down to the other extreme of a real violent crime. Say a parent kills their child, their young child, even like say smothers them, and we read about that, and we just think the person that did that is not worth living. They're not even human. They're just a piece of garbage, and they should be wiped off the face of the earth. So those are both where you attack the person, and this principle of focus on the behavior, not the person, doesn't mean that these people that commit these real violent crimes should get away with it, shouldn't suffer the consequences. It's looking at the behaviors, and it's not like, oh, kumbaya, everybody's great, everybody loves everybody, and they did this terrible thing, but we love them and they should be forgiven, and everybody dance around in a big circle. No, it's not saying that. It's saying, don't attack the person. And it's okay, like I said, to have that visceral reaction when from your gut when you see that. The goal of living nonviolently is, and I think this can be done with practice, is that you don't get stuck in that notion of attacking the person. You are able to have that initial reaction, but you don't keep building on that and saying, what a terrible person, and on and on and on. You can begin to shift a little bit. Well, why did that person cut me off, I don't think they woke up that morning and said, I'm going to cut that John off first thing and first chance I get. And down on the other more serious level, we've all been in situations, I would say, where we can get pretty violent. And again, that doesn't excuse the behavior. But when you look at that, some of the violent crimes that people commit, why did they do that? And again, it's not like trying to forgive them and, oh, they had a terrible childhood and those types of things. That may be true. That may be what led them to do that, but it's not letting them not suffer the consequences of their behavior. So then when you spin that back, and one of the, probably the only principle of the Daily Peacemaker is to honor and respect the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And what does that mean in a given situation? You'd have to unpack it, but it does mean in any situation, you don't attack the personhood of a person. That's a large order, I know, but it can be done. And if you take that notion of honor and respect the inherent worth and dignity of every person, brings you down to another level, and that is, are there people that are pure evil? as opposed to everyone having a spark, at least a spark of the divine in them, at least something good in them. And if you are on the side of there are some people that are pure evil, they have no inherent worth or dignity, then the question becomes, how do you decide who has inherent worth and dignity and who doesn't? How do you decide that this person is pure evil, has no value at all? How do you do that? I don't know, and how one can do that. And you point at examples, oh, Hitler, or the people that murder their kids, and are they pure evil? I tend to think not, but maybe some. I guess some people do. But again, it's that, all right, so this person here is pure evil. They don't deserve to live. They're purely garbage. What about this person over here? Well, so where do you draw the line? And so that's something to reflect on, because if one does not believe, and it's a belief, I I don't know that there's scientific proof that every person is inherently has inherent worth and value. So when you look at that further, when we castigate or attack a person, one of the things is that if you look at it, it's a way of getting off on ourselves, because when you say that person is just a terrible piece of garbage because they did X, Y, and Z, on some level you're saying, thank goodness I'm not like them. So it's a way of making yourself feel a little better when you attack another person. It also, I believe, sends out a negative energy, which is not a good thing, obviously. And I don't know. So it's something to look at, I guess. Where do you stand on this notion of, does every person have an inherent worth and dignity that we need to honor and respect? And that's a tough question, because and then, like we were saying, it revolved. Goes back to there's some people that don't have any worth or integrity, and they just should be annihilated from the face of the earth. So let me leave you with that notion of where do you stand, and I guess I'll leave you with another notion of that you can, in spite of your gut reactions to violence, you can begin to focus more on the behavior rather than attacking the person. Yes, as we said, the initial reaction sometimes is violence towards the person, but you don't have to get stuck there. You can begin to say, why did that happen? And also to acknowledge that some of the worst things that people have done, probably on some level, given the right set of circumstances, I could do those. So it's a tough thing to get a hold of, to not attack the person, because we are so, or the personhood of the person, we're so, at least in the process of the evolution of humans so far, we are prone to attack the person. I think that's changing a little bit, where people are looking at why the person did that. And again, it's not to what's the right word? Not to let them off the hook, so to say. They have to be responsible for their actions. Um, all right, so let me leave you with that. A couple of questions in there. I hope you are all doing well. I hope that humanity is moving to a place where we do respect the inherent worth and dignity of everybody that we meet or read about. So hopefully we'll keep moving down that road. And as always, good to be with you, and hope to see you soon. And you take care. I love Lester Holt, the news guy. I think he ends his stuff by taking care of yourself. He goes, take care of yourself and each other. And that's a pretty good way to end. So I'm going to do that. Take care of yourself and each other. Peace.